Now I got to pause this. Okay, I want to talk to you about why is pre-calculus considered an advanced or college course. So, I have spent 20 years of my career teaching in college. And the one thing I noticed about that in college is that fully 50% of my students had to take pre-calculus in order to graduate college. That was the required level of math class. The other 50% had to take statistics. So your other choice would be to take AP statistics. I mean, seriously, once you get to this point in high school, past Algebra 2, you are really considered to be either heading to college or doing college coursework. And so, since you have signed up for this course, you have to do what's required in the course. Okay? That's all I can say about that. I can't make it any easier. It's really a college level coursework. Everything I teach in pre-calculus in high school is exactly the same things I would teach in a college course. I've taught it in both places, and I teach exactly the same material. And that's not going to change. It's just because it's a course that's needed before you take calculus, hence the name pre-calculus. Okay? So let's just understand that that's the level at which the course is at. And since it's at that level, it requires a commitment from you as a student. And that commitment is you have to be willing to work approximately 2 hours per day on this course. 1 hour doing the videos and the readings, and then another hour doing the homework. Now, some of you might finish that in less time, and some of you it might take a greater amount of time. And that's only because we all learn differently at different speeds. We have different home circumstances, and I can't control that. But on average, it should be about 2 hours. All right? And I can't change that. That's what it takes to learn the material. All right? My college students had to do it. And I think most of my high school students in the past have had to do it. You just have to spend the time with the material. Okay? And so there's a commitment, but it's really a commitment of time. If you don't spend the time, then it becomes harder to pass the course. All right? So, what do you need to do in order to pass class? There are really 3 things you have to do and do well. You have to do the daily homework. If you do the daily homework and turn in the daily homework, then that will help you do better on the quizzes and tests the first time. Okay? Many students who are doing the daily homework are finding that they only have to take a quiz once. They don't have to take it 3 times to pass it. Or they're finding they take it twice. They get an 80%, and there's one problem they miss or one concept they're a little shaky on, but they can relearn it and they do better the next time. I have way more A's in the number of students doing class right now than I did last semester, A's and B's. And so the key is doing this daily homework. There is no choice. It's part of your grade. It's about 20% of your grade. I give completion credit for it if you do the completion the way I ask, and I'll talk about that later. All right? The second thing you have to do is you have to do the about every 3 or 4 lessons quiz. You have to do these quizzes. Now, These quizzes, you have 3 chances, 3 opportunities to take the quiz. But if you do the homework, then you should be able to do the quiz because the homework problems mimic the quiz problems. So it's very important that you do that. All right? And about every 3 or 4 days, we're going to take a quiz. So most of the time, we'll have about 1 a week, but sometimes we'll have 2. It just kind of depends on how things fall daily. And then the third thing you have to do is you have to do the unit tests. All right? Now, just so you know, by the end of next week, we will have finished 2 units. Now, the first 2 units are the shortest ones. The next 2 units, one of them will take about 4.5 weeks and the other will take about 6 weeks. So the next 2 units are very long. All right, I want you to remember that. Now, just so you know, because we're doing the written daily homework, there is no midterm this semester. So I'm going to skip the midterm in lieu of the written daily homework. I did the midterm so I could see if you could do work. By doing the daily homework, I can see every day if you can do work. And so that's what you need to do to pass class. About 20% is on the daily homework, and I think it's 30% or 35% on the quizzes, and then 45% on the tests, or they may both be 40. I can't remember. I'd have to look that up to see. But they're about 40% each. Now, we are going to take an end of year exam, and that will go in the daily homework grade. And so that's significant where you demonstrate what you know. And there's also a final exam for people who aren't exempt. However, if you start today, you have plenty of time to earn exemption because we're not even going to worry about that until about May 1st. All right? So starting today will make a huge difference. Okay? Now, finally, that takes us really to the last question. What if you feel like you just can't do it? All right, you have really 3 choices. Choice number 1, you can drop class. You can go to your counselor and say, I do not want to take pre-calculus. However, that may mean you do not have enough math credits. If you don't have enough math credits, then you're going to have to take another math class. And you're going to have to do that work. And you're going to be behind. So you need to think about that. All right? If you don't have enough math credits, then you may not graduate. All right? So those are the issues with dropping class. Now, I've had some students drop class every semester. I am not wounded if that's what you choose to do, but you need to work this out right away. Do it this week. Figure it out. All right? Number 2. Now, this is not my favorite option for students. This is sort of the last resort. All right? Survive. Because of the consequences. It could cause you not to graduate, cause you to have to do summer school, all kinds of things. All right? Number 2. Number 2, you can do what you're doing. So what is it that you're doing? Well, there are really 2 things. There are students who are not doing anything. And there are students who have done some stuff, but they're not committed to the class. i.e., they're not committed to stay caught up. They're kind of just halfway doing things. All right? So, this can be a choice. So, what are the consequences of these two choices? You will fail. That's the consequence. You'll fail. That means you'll have to do it in summer school, or you'll have to do credit recovery next year. So you'll have to do it all over again. Okay? And consequences of failing may mean you do not have enough math credits and you may not graduate. So if you continue to do what you're doing, those are the consequences. All right? And so I live in a world of consequences. And you do too. And so our choices, whether we make them explicitly or we make them unintentionally, we still have the same consequences. Okay? Number three, you can do one lesson per day. One day at a time. Okay? Which means you will start today. So, we are only about 3 weeks into school right now. Okay? And the beauty of that is, although we will have finished 2 units almost completely, all right, you can start today and just do 1 lesson per day, and you will have plenty of time to finish, because we're going to finish all our lessons on April 29th. Well, maybe a little sooner than that. April 25th. Okay? That's the last unit test. Then the final exam starts. But there's a full 2 or 3 weeks until the end of school for juniors and 2 weeks for seniors. All right? After that. So there's a lot of time to do some catch up. Plus there's spring break. So I would say there are 3 to 4 weeks of catch up time. And I have not even counted the weekends, which weekends from now, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. We got another 3 weeks of weekends. So you have a full 6 to 7 weeks of catch-up time. If you did 1 lesson per day, you will slowly catch up, including the weekends. You just do 1 on the weekends to keep catching up. And your grade will slowly improve. And what you want to look at is how you're doing on each assignment. Are you passing each assignment? If you're passing each assignment, then by the time you're caught up, you will be passing. Okay? And so the goal is for you to do that 1 day at a time. What are the consequences of this? You pass pre-calculus. If you have to take pre-calculus in college, you'll have previous knowledge. You'll get all your math credits. You'll still be eligible for graduation. All right? If you wait longer, I suppose there's a number 4, wait, and then try and do it all at once. And I've had a lot of students do that. And I know that basically what they do is they cheat. They put all the answers into photomath, and then they put those answers down, and then they try and cheat their way through. So people who wait are cheating. The problem is, I have a solution for that. You cannot pass class unless you do the homework. You would have to get almost 100% on everything in order to pass class. And that just doesn't happen when people wait, because they don't know how to do the work. So this is a dangerous strategy. Okay? And the consequences are you could fail after doing a lot of work. So my favorite option for you guys is number 3, one lesson at a time. Why? Because that's how you do it in college. You do it one day at a time. Okay? So let's go back, and I want to talk about the homework just briefly. The daily homework. What do we do? Okay? Why am I assigning daily homework? Well, number 1, as a math teacher, I need to see your work. I need to see if you're doing what you need to do to really understand. Okay? By seeing all the student work every day, I have a sense of what people understand and what they don't. The online quizzes and the online tests do not give me that information. Only real written work does in mathematics for me, based on the way I teach and so forth. All right? So that's one reason we do it. The second reason we do it is it helps you. If you do the written work, you know your questions. I can tell you every student, and I have about 10 students who come to office hour regularly, some once a week, some every day, but doing the written work helps you to understand. Every one of them who comes to the office, they know what their questions are. They know what they don't know how to do. So you can be that person as well. And you can get better by doing the homework. And so, as I said, homework helps you. It helps you to understand what your questions are, how to do problems. It gives you practice. All the questions in the homework mimic questions that will be on the quizzes and the tests. So by doing this homework daily, you will get better and be able to do those items with a higher score. You just have to, on every homework, you have to show your work. And what I mean by that is you have to demonstrate your thinking. How'd you think to solve this problem? What made you answer the way that you did? So this is not just about the answers. It's about telling me how you got the answer. That's really, really important. This is the thing that makes you good at mathematics. Okay? All righty. So, that's what I want you to work on right now. I just want you to know that you can do this. All right? Let me go to the